I sit at my kitchen table surrounded by recipe cards handed down through generations, planning my contributions to our family Thanksgiving. For weeks, I've been refining the menu cornbread stuffing with cranberries, sweet potato casserole with the praline topping Mom always compliments. My coffee steams beside me as I make notes about ingredient quantities when my phone lights up with Mom on the caller ID. "Hey, Mom," I answer, warmth spreading through my chest. Despite our complicated relationship, these traditions still matter to me. To all of us. "Mara, dear, we need to talk about Thanksgiving this year." Her voice carries that artificial lightness that always precedes bad news. My pencil hovers over the recipe card. "Is everything okay?" "Of course, everything's fine. We're just doing things differently this year." She pauses. "We're keeping it small, adults only." The coffee cup slips from my hand, splashing across my carefully planned menu. Brown liquid seeps into the paper, blurring my handwritten notes. "Adults only? You mean no kids at all?" I grab a dish towel, dabbing at the spreading stain while my heart pounds against my ribs. "Well, not exactly." Another pause. "Grant's boys will still come. They sit so nicely at the table, but your two are just a bit too energetic for a formal dinner." The room tilts slightly. I grip the edge of the table to steady myself. "Let me understand this," I say, my voice unnaturally calm. "You're inviting my brother's children but not mine?" "Don't put it that way, Mara. Ella runs around and Nico knocked over the gravy boat last year. Grant's boys know how to behave at formal occasions." The memory floods back last Thanksgiving, watching Grant's sons unwrap brand new tablets while my children receive dollar store coloring books. Mom had leaned over, whispering just loudly enough for me to hear, "Your children lack the elegance that comes with proper upbringing." I had said nothing then. Reed squeezed my hand under the table so hard it nearly hurt, silently begging me not to create a scene. "If my children aren't welcome," I say now, each word deliberate, "then I'm not coming either." The silence stretches between us, broken only by Mom's dismissive sigh. "Don't be so sensitive, Mara. We just want one peaceful dinner." Her voice hardens. "Why must you always make everything so difficult?" My hands have stopped trembling. Something solid forms in my chest, replacing the hurt with something steadier. "My children are part of this family," I say. "This attitude of yours is exactly why we're having this conversation," Mom snaps. "Perhaps we should reconsider Christmas gifts this year as well." The threat hangs in the air. For years, these generous gifts have been held over my head whenever I step out of line. "Your mother is trying to talk to you." Dad's voice suddenly comes through the line. He must have been listening the whole time. "After everything she does for you, the least you could do is give her one day." I close my eyes. One day. One dinner. One more instance of teaching my children they matter less than their cousins. One more opportunity to show Ella and Nico that keeping the peace matters more than their dignity. The realization washes over me like cold water. They don't want my presence, they want my compliance. "I understand exactly what Mom wants," I say quietly. "But I won't teach my children they deserve less respect than their cousins." "Now you listen here," Dad begins. "No," I interrupt, surprising even myself. "I've listened my entire life. This time, you listen. My children and I are a package deal. We'll miss you at Thanksgiving." I end the call before they can respond. The kitchen is silent except for the soft patter of coffee dripping from the table onto the floor. Through the doorway, I can see Ella helping Nico build a tower with wooden blocks, their laughter carrying across the room. For them, I think. This time I stand my ground for them. Next day, I clutch my phone tighter against my ear, sure I've misheard. "What do you mean Dad's grocery card isn't working?" "It was declined at Kroger," Mom says, her voice pinched with irritation. "I had to leave a cart full of groceries. It's your card, isn't it? You need to fix it." My brow furrows. "My card? What are you talking about?" "The one you gave us during Robert's heart surgery. The blue one." A chill spreads through my chest. I haven't thought about that card in years, the emergency credit card I added them to temporarily when Dad was recovering, 4 years ago. "Hold on," I murmur, already opening my banking app. The balance appears on screen, and my legs give out. I sink into the kitchen chair, staring at a number that can't possibly be right. $22,346.98. The room tilts slightly. "Mara, are you there?" Mom's voice sounds distant. "I'll call you back," I whisper, ending the call before she can respond. My fingers tremble as I scroll through the transaction history. Pages and pages of charges. Groceries, gas stations, Home Depot, JCPenney, Delta Airlines. Years of purchases I never made. I hardly notice when Reed walks in, his expression shifting from cheerful to concerned. "Honey, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." I can only shake my head, pushing the phone toward him. They've been using my credit card for 4 years. Later that evening, our home office transforms into a war room. Bank statements cover every inch of the desk. Reed stands behind my chair, his presence steady as the customer service representative's voice fills the room through speakerphone. "Yes, I can confirm additional cards were sent to a Savannah address in March 2019, the representative says. "It appears they were authorized by the primary account holder." "That was temporary," I say, my voice surprisingly calm considering the storm inside me. "My father was recovering from heart surgery. I never intended." "I understand, Mrs. Fields. Unfortunately, without a specific cancellation request, those cards remained active." Reed squeezes my shoulder as the representative continues. "Would you like me to list the total charges by category?" I press my fingertips against my closed eyelids. "Please." The numbers wash over me. Groceries, $9,872.63. Gas, $5,140.09. Utilities, $8,653.78. Car repairs, $3,294.43. My hands begin to shake again when she mentions vacation expense a weekend at Hilton Head Island last spring that cost nearly $2,000. The total unauthorized spending comes to $36,841.92 over 4 years, she concludes. Beside me, Reed inhales sharply. That amount would cover Ella's art camp for 3 summers. It would pay for Nico's speech therapy, which our insurance refuses to cover. It represents countless opportunities stolen from my children by the very people who claimed my parenting wasn't good enough. "There's one more thing you should know," the representative adds. "There have been several late payments on this account over the past year." My stomach twists. "Late payments? But I have autopay set up for the minimum." "Yes, but when the balance exceeds your credit limit, the automatic payment only covers a portion. The account has been 30 days past due 3 times in the last 12 months. My credit score, my ability to qualify for loans, all damaged while I remained oblivious." When the call ends, Reed paces behind me, running his hands through his hair. $36,000, he says, his voice tight. "We're not wealthy like your brother, Mara. We can't absorb this." The unfairness of it all crashes over me. My parents, who live in a paid-off colonial in Savannah's historic district, who vacation in Europe, who buy Grant's son's new tablets while giving my children dollar store coloring books. They've been siphoning money from us for years. "Call back," Reed urges. "Cancel those cards now." My fingers move automatically, dialing the number again. This time, my voice doesn't waver as I request immediate cancellation of all additional cards. A wave of relief washes through me when the representative confirms the cards are now invalid. "Is there anything else I can help you with today?" she asks. So many answers fill my mind. Can you restore my trust in my parents? Can you give back the opportunities my children lost? Can you erase the memory of how easily I was used? "No," I say finally. "That's all. Thank you." As I stare at the statement spread across the desk, a question forms in my mind. Should I confront my parents immediately while anger burns hot in my chest, or wait until I've calmed down? Would addressing their betrayal while furious lead to irreparable damage, or would waiting only show them I could be taken advantage of again? What would you do when the people who raised you prove they've been using you all along? I reach for my phone, my decision made. The envelope arrives on a Tuesday, cream-colored with my parents' return address in the corner. It sits innocently among the bills and advertisements. Nothing about its appearance suggests the bomb waiting inside, yet my fingers hesitate before breaking the seal. Inside, I find a single sheet of paper with a law firm's letterhead, Peterson, Gable, and Associates, my father's golf buddies' practice. The paper trembles in my hand as I read. Invoice number 4721. B. Client: Margaret and Edward Whitfield. Services rendered: child rearing expenses, $1,980. 8/2006. Amount due, $65,940.12. Below stretches an itemized list: private school tuition, summer camps, dental work, clothing allowances, even emotional labor and stress management. Each item assigned a precise dollar value. I stand frozen in my kitchen, the afternoon light suddenly too harsh. A laugh bubbles up hollow and sharp-edged. Reed walks in, car keys jingling in his hand. "Hey, I grabbed milk on the way." He stops, studies my face. "What's wrong?" I hand him the paper wordlessly. "They're billing you for your childhood?" His voice climbs higher with each word. "This can't be legal." It's on legal letterhead. "This is insane, Mara. No court would." That's not the point. I take the paper back, fold it precisely along its creases. They don't expect me to pay. They want me to know they own me. That night, sleep refuses to come. Reed's breathing settles into a steady rhythm beside me while I stare at the ceiling, mind racing through calculations. How much did they actually spend? Was there ever a time when their love came without strings attached? I slip out of bed and pad down to my office. Opening my laptop bathes the room in blue light as I create a new spreadsheet. Column A: every time I've helped my parents financially since college. Column B: emotional support provided during Dad's heart surgery, Mom's knee replacement, holiday hosting, birthday planning. Column C: the missed work hours, the therapy sessions needed afterward. By 3 a.m., the numbers blur. I've calculated the unpayable debt of being their daughter years of unreciprocated support, thousands in loans never repaid, countless hours spent managing their disappointment. The final sum makes their invoice look paltry by comparison. My eyes burn. I rest my forehead against the cool desk surface and finally let the tears come. "Mommy?" I look up to find Ella standing in the doorway, Mr. Buttons dangling from one hand. Her hair sticks up in sleep-tousled peaks. "Baby, it's late. You should be in bed." I wipe my face hastily. She crosses the room and places her worn teddy bear in my lap. When I'm sad, Mr. Buttons helps. He doesn't fix things, but he makes the crying less lonely. My throat tightens as I accept the stuffed animal. "Thank you, sweetheart." "Is it because of Grandma and Grandpa?" she asks, wisdom beyond her 8 years shining in her eyes. I nod, unable to speak. "They make you cry a lot." She says it as a simple observation, not a question. After tucking her back into bed, I make my decision. The 6-hour drive to Savannah stretches before me like a gauntlet, but some conversations can't happen over the phone. The morning sun beats down on my parents' porch as I ring the bell. 6 hours of highway behind me, my back stiff and resolve hardened. The door swings open to reveal my mother, perfectly coiffed despite the early hour. "Oh, so now you show up?" Her eyebrows arch high, voice dripping with affected surprise. I hold up the letter. "You seriously think this will work?" Then I tear it in half, the sound sharp and final between us. "We've given you everything," she hisses, stepping back as if my presence contaminates her immaculate foyer. Dad appears behind her, arms crossed. "Maybe we'll talk to a real lawyer next time." "For what? Raising your own child?" The words feel foreign in my mouth. I've never spoken to them this way. "You can't invoice me for doing what parents are supposed to do." "After everything we've sacrificed," Mom begins. Sacrificed? The word ignites something inside me. "I've been buying your love my whole life. I just didn't know there was a price tag attached." Dad's face flushes dark red. "You ungrateful." "I'm not ungrateful. I'm awake." I step back, suddenly lighter. And I'm done. The drive home should feel longer, but something has shifted. I call Reed from a rest stop off I-95. "How did it go?" His voice carries concern across the miles. "They threatened legal action." I watch an elderly couple at a nearby picnic table sharing a thermos of coffee. The woman laughs at something her husband says, leaning naturally into his shoulder. "I called Jason," Reed says. "He'll meet with you tomorrow. I'll take the day off for the kids." Jason, Reed's law school roommate, now a family attorney. The contrast between this offer and my parents' response to every boundary I've ever set strikes me anew. "You don't have to do that." I know I don't have to. I want to. The next day, Jason's office feels like sanctuary warm wood and genuine attention as I spread the letter across his desk. "This is complete nonsense," he says, examining the letterhead. "Legally meaningless intimidation. No actual attorney would pursue this. He sets it aside. The question is, what do you want to do about it? I sit straighter in my chair. I want to protect my family. Then let's talk strategy. I spend the following week gathering evidence bank records documenting their unauthorized credit card use, text messages showing patterns of manipulation, voicemails where threats about inheritance or gifts were casually dropped when I failed to comply with their wishes. In a forgotten email folder, I discover the smoking gun messages between my parents discussing how to keep Mara in line after I questioned their treatment of Ella at last year's Easter gathering. She's always been easily managed through her guilt, my father wrote. Remind her about the tuition payments we made. The holiday season arrives, bringing with it cards from distant relatives and invitations I politely decline. For the first time, Christmas morning belongs just to us pancakes in pajamas, presents open slowly, no rush to pack the car for obligatory visits. On New Year's Eve, just as the kids settle in with a movie, the doorbell rings. My stomach tightens as I peer through the peephole. Standing on my doorstep, illuminated by our porch light, is my entire family, mom and dad front and center, with Grant and his wife Sophie slightly behind them. I open the door, the night air rushing in with the weight of what comes next. My parents' expressions harden when they see me, while Grant shifts his weight from one foot to another, already uncomfortable. Sophie clutches her designer purse like a shield. May we come in? Dad asks, his tone suggesting it's not really a question. Of course, I reply, stepping aside with a calmness that surprises even me. I direct them to the living room, gesturing toward the couch and armchairs while remaining standing. The family photos on our walls, Ella's gap-toothed smile, Nico covered in finger painfully testify to what's at stake. Where are the children? Mom asks, scanning the room as if they might be hiding behind furniture. With friends, I say, maintaining eye contact. I thought it best. Always making things difficult, Dad mutters, loud enough for everyone to hear. We're here because you've abandoned family traditions. Mom begins, her voice carrying that rehearsed quality I recognize from childhood lectures. Breaking tradition affects everyone, not just you. The boys miss their cousins, Sophie adds, her perfectly manicured nails tapping against her knee. It's not fair to keep them apart because of adult disagreements. Grant says nothing, but his eyes dart between me and our parents. I notice the slight furrow in his brow, the same expression he wore as a child, when beginning to question something but lacking the courage to speak up. Reed enters from the kitchen, carrying a tray with coffee mugs. His presence steadies me as he places the tray on the coffee table without offering to serve anyone. He stands beside me, our shoulders almost touching. We've given this situation considerable thought, Dad announces, straightening his back. And we've consulted a lawyer about filing for grandparents' visitation rights. The statement hangs in the air like a thrown gauntlet. Reed's hand finds mine, squeezing gently. The court looks favorably on maintaining family relationships, Mom adds, confidence edging her words, especially when the grandparents have been so involved in the children's lives. Grant clears his throat. Mom, I'm not sure that's... It's the right thing, Sophie interrupts, leaning forward. Family matters. The boys miss their cousins, and it's not fair to keep them apart. You're right, Sophie, I say quietly. Family does matter. Something in my tone makes Grant look up sharply. Reed, would you mind getting the folder from my office? Reed nods and leaves the room. The silence that follows feels electric. When he returns with the brown accordion file, I take it and place it on the coffee table. Since we're discussing family and fairness, there's something we should address. I open the file and begin spreading bank statements across the table. Credit card bills, transaction histories, and account summaries form a paper trail of betrayal. Grant leans forward, confusion evident as his eyes scan the documents. What is all this? He asks. 4 years of unauthorized charges on my credit card. I explain, my voice level despite the anger simmering beneath. Groceries, utilities, Vacation 7 Christmas gifts that I apparently gave to myself. Grant's eyes widen as he recognizes our parents' spending patterns. Sophie's hand flies to her mouth. With the evidence spread before us, I wondered if I should lay everything bare now, or give them one last chance to admit what they'd done. Would complete exposure bring justice, or would offering mercy show my children a better way forward? Reed steps forward, his calm presence a contrast to the tension filling the room. We discovered these charges recently, he explains, gesturing toward the statements. Your parents have been using Mara's credit card without permission since 2019. The total is over $36,000. Grant looks directly at our parents, his face flushing. Is this true? Dad waves his hand dismissively. We've given her so much more over the years. Everything we ever did was for this family. Including charging thousands to my account without my knowledge? I ask, pulling another document from the folder. Or writing emails about how to manage me. Mom's face pales as I hold up printed copies of conversations between her and Dad. Emails discussing my attitude problem when I question their decisions. Messages strategizing how to ensure I wouldn't make waves at family gatherings. You had no right to read our private emails, Mom sputters, her composure cracking. And you had no right to use my credit card, I counter. Grant reaches for one of the statements, examining the charges more closely. The comfortable certainty he walked in with visibly crumbles as he processes what he's seeing. You told me this was about Mara refusing to participate in family traditions, he says to our parents, his voice hollow with realization. Sophie leans toward Grant, whispering, We should go. This isn't what you described. Her eyes dart between the documents and my parents with growing discomfort. For the first time in my life, I see my parents' authority wavering not just in my eyes, but in Grant's. The power they've wielded for decades through guilt, obligation, and manipulation suddenly seems brittle against the solid weight of truth. After all we've done for you, Mother says, her voice cracking as she clutches her purse to her chest. We just wanted to enjoy our retirement. Is that so much to ask? I stand perfectly still in my living room, surrounded by my children's artwork. The crude crayon drawings and finger paintings proudly displayed along the walls suddenly feel like shields against the emotional arrows being fired across the room. Your mother has sacrificed so much, Dad adds, his eyes fixed on a spot above my head, refusing to meet my gaze. We've given you everything. The familiar weight of guilt tries to settle on my shoulders, but I shrug it off. Not today. Reed steps closer to me, his presence solid and reassuring at my back. If you push this, Mother continues, her voice dropping to a whisper, it'll destroy the family. Is that what you want Ella and Nico to remember? That their mother tore everyone apart? Grant shifts uncomfortably beside Sophie on the couch. The mention of the children's names seems to make him uneasy. I walk to the bookshelf and remove a small digital recorder tucked between two photo albums. I recorded our entire conversation. I say, pressing play. My mother's earlier words fill the room. We never intended for her to find out about the credit cards. Dad lurches forward. Turn that off. I click the stop button. I don't have to play the rest, and I don't need to expose you to the rest of the family. I just need you to leave us alone. You can't possibly, Mother begins, then turns to Grant. Surely you see how unreasonable she's being. Grant takes Sophie's hand and remains silent. The shift in alliance is unmistakable. This isn't about money, I say, my voice steady. It's about respect, something you've never shown my children or me. We've always respected you, Dad protests. I walk to my desk and retrieve the banker's box I've prepared. Then why did I find these? I place the box on the coffee table between us. The evidence spills out as I flip open the lid. Bank records organized by year, highlighted transactions, copies of credit card statements, and printed emails all meticulously organized to show the pattern of exploitation. 3 years of grocery bills charged to my account, I say, tapping one folder. 6 months of utilities, another folder. Your anniversary cruise, a third. All while you told family friends how generous you were to me. Mother's face pales as she stares at the evidence. Those were temporary arrangements, she says weakly. Temporary for 4 years? I ask. While you built your vacation home? Grant leans forward to examine a statement, his eyebrows rising as he recognizes the pattern of purchases. I walk to my desk and return with an envelope. The weight of it feels substantial in my hand, representing far more than paper and ink. I hand it to my father. What's this? He asks, suspicion narrowing his eyes. Open it. His fingers tremble slightly as he tears the envelope. Inside is a check the exact amount of their bill, $65,940.12. In the memo line, I've written paid in full in bold letters. What is all this? He asks. 4 years of unauthorized charges on my credit card. I explain, my voice level despite the anger simmering beneath. Groceries, utilities, Vacation 7 Christmas gifts that I apparently gave to myself. Grant's eyes widen as he recognizes our parents' spending patterns. Sophie's hand flies to her mouth. With the evidence spread before us, I wondered if I should lay everything bare now, or give them one last chance to admit what they'd done. Would complete exposure bring justice, or would offering mercy show my children a better way forward? Reed steps forward, his calm presence a contrast to the tension filling the room. We discovered these charges recently, he explains, gesturing toward the statements. Your parents have been using Mara's credit card without permission since 2019. The total is over $36,000. Grant looks directly at our parents, his face flushing. Is this true? Dad waves his hand dismissively. We've given her so much more over the years. Everything we ever did was for this family. Including charging thousands to my account without my knowledge? I ask, pulling another document from the folder, or writing emails about how to manage me. Mom's face pales as I hold up printed copies of conversations between her and Dad, emails discussing my attitude problem when I question their decisions, messages strategizing how to ensure I wouldn't make waves at family gatherings. You had no right to read our private emails, Mom sputters, her composure cracking. And you had no right to use my credit card, I counter. Grant reaches for one of the statements, examining the charges more closely. The comfortable certainty he walked in with visibly crumbles as he processes what he's seeing. You told me this was about Mara refusing to participate in family traditions, he says to our parents, his voice hollow with realization. Sophie leans toward Grant, whispering, We should go. This isn't what you described. Her eyes dart between the documents and my parents with growing discomfort. For the first time in my life, I see my parents' authority wavering not just in my eyes, but in Grant's. The power they've wielded for decades through guilt, obligation, and manipulation suddenly seems brittle against the solid weight of truth. Spring sunlight dapples our backyard as Reed and I sit on the weathered deck chairs, watching Ella and Nico play. For the first time in months, my shoulders aren't tensed, anticipating a phone call or dreading an upcoming family visit. No calculations run through my head about which behaviors might earn criticism or how to shield the children from disapproving glances. Mom, look! Nico jumps into a rain puddle left from yesterday's shower, water splashing up his pants and speckling his shirt. Last year, I would have winced, imagining my mother's pursed lips and whispered comments about proper outdoor attire and control. Today, I laugh. Higher next time. See if you can reach the fence. Ella joins him, their giggles harmonizing as they compete for the biggest splash. Reed squeezes my hand, his smile reflected in eyes that have witnessed every step of my journey away from that suffocating definition of family. They look happy, he says. They are. So am I. When November arrives, our dining table stretches to accommodate neighbors and friends we've grown close to over the years. The mismatched chairs and borrowed folding table create a patchwork gathering that feels more authentic than any formal dinner I attended growing up. Ella proudly carries in her handmade centerpiece a wild arrangement of pine cones, feathers, and glittery paper stars that would have been deemed not elegant enough in my parents' home. She beams as our guests exclaim over each detail. I made it all by myself, she announces, chin raised with the confidence I never had at her age. When my phone rings during dessert, I don't flinch or rush to answer. I simply silence it without checking the caller ID and return to the laughter surrounding me. The constant anxiety that once accompanied every notification has faded into something distant and powerless. Later that evening, our small gathering moves to the living room where Reed helps the children unfurl a banner across the fireplace mantel. Family We Choose sprawls in colorful, imperfect letters across the fabric. Each guest has added their handprint in paint, creating a vibrant constellation of connection. Reed raises his glass of sparkling cider, to peace that doesn't come with a price tag. Our friends echo the sentiment, the warmth in the room having nothing to do with the crackling fire. Nico tugs at my sleeve, his voice dropping to a stage whisper everyone can hear. Will Cousin Michael and Jason ever come to our new Thanksgiving? I pull him close. Maybe someday, sweetheart. Families are complicated. The following week, an email arrives from Grant. I almost delete it without reading, but something makes me hesitate. The message is brief but unmistakable in its sincerity. I've been thinking about what happened. I was wrong. I should have seen what was happening sooner. I miss the kids. Sophie and I both do. For days, I carry his words with me, testing them against my newfound boundaries. When I finally respond, it's with cautious hope and clear terms. A meeting at a neutral location, just the cousins at first, with both Grant and I present, but our parents nowhere involved. That evening, I scroll through old family photos on my phone. With each swipe, I delete images of forced smiles and tense gatherings where love came with conditions I could never satisfy. But I pause at one picture, all the cousins together at the beach 3 summers ago, their faces unmarked by the complications of adult relationships. I save this single image, setting it apart from the others. As I looked at that single photo of all the cousins playing together, I wondered if some relationships are worth salvaging while others must be left behind. Is it possible to cut ties with toxic parents while maintaining connections with other family members? Or does peace sometimes require a clean break from the entire past? The answer, I'm beginning to believe, isn't in the sweeping gestures of complete rejection or wholesale forgiveness. It lives in the smaller, daily choices to protect what matters without being consumed by what hurt, in letting my children splash in puddles without fear, in centerpieces made with love rather than precision, in boundaries that shield without imprisoning. In gardens where second chances can grow, carefully tended and given just enough space to prove themselves worthy of the soil they're planted in.